Hey, what's up everybody and welcome back to A8A Works. Today we're bringing back two absolute fan favorites. The Liberty Walk R34 Skyline and the Liberty Walk Silvia are back on the channel, but in brand new colors, the white Athlete Collet edition. So let's check them out. Of course, we've had these cars on the channel before, especially the R34. My red and black comparison with Hot Wheels and CM models is still one of the most watched videos on the channel. So anytime MiniGT drops a new color, it feels like revisiting an old friend. And before we get into these two, MiniGT's been firing out Liberty Walk releases like crazy lately. So expect a full color review on this R34 over here, and of course the Nissan Z over here in a new gold color, and of course the new red color for the Liberty Walk McLaren 720S. I reviewed the black one of that, and of course the Fiat 500, the Abarth works, and this is a really nice Fighter Works gray. So lots of cool stuff coming on the channel soon. So here are the two cars together, MiniGT numbers 1054 and 1059, and these colors might look familiar to you if you follow Liberty Walk events or Tokyo Auto Salon coverage. This is not a random design, it's actually a real Liberty Walk sponsor theme involving Champagne Collet and Athlete Company, a Japanese vehicle logistics firm. This white livery comes directly from Liberty Walk's real sponsor collaborations. Champagne Collet has done multiple show car partnerships with LB Japan, and Athlete Company is actually the transporter that moves LB's demo cars to events. You would have seen the massive Liberty Walk truck sometimes in a huge row, and they would have said Athlete on them as well. And actually I've got a little bit of a smaller version over there, and you can see it says Athlete on the side there as well. And this color scheme has actually appeared on real Liberty Walk cars before, including the Lambo Miura they've done, as well as an R32 Skyline and an F40 as well. So the livery you see here on the Silvia and the R34 is absolutely rooted in Liberty Walk's real world styling. So let's start out with the Silvia, seeing as it's the smaller number, and also because this is a real car and one of the wildest S15 builds that Liberty Walk has ever done. Of course, the box is pretty nice, typical MiniGT, the car in white, and of course this white theme continues through the whole thing, and of course officially licensed by Nissan and Liberty Walk. And as you can see, it's fully sealed, so I'm in for a surprise just as much as you are. Let's do it. So I've just trimmed this piece in my usual way, and let's actually, ooh, let's actually check it out. Oh yes, wow, that is insane. Wow, that livery looks absolutely epic on this car, man. As soon as I saw the images for the pre-release, I clicked straight away in a heartbeat to order this car because the pre-order pictures were already insane. But man, holding it in my hand, this is just absolutely insane. And of course, I'm so happy that they've actually started putting the writing on the wheels. You can just see how much more legit the car looks, and man, this is absolutely wild. I honestly think this is one of the coolest colors that they've released for the Silvia. Of course, one of the most iconic ones was this Auto Finesse one over here, and that looks incredible, but this is just next level. I really love this black and white theme. It just looks super epic straight away. Man, that is cool. The real car was completed in late 2024 for Athlete Company, and the car was debuted at the Tokyo Auto Salon in 2025. And then it traveled to Australia for WTAC, which is the World Time Attack Championships, where it was showcased and driven by Tetsuya Hibino, and he was literally just drifting all around the track. And there are actually videos of that online, so you can check those out as well. But the biggest headline, of course, is the engine, because the Silvia runs a naturally aspirated peripheral port 4 rotor rotary engine built by the same rotary specialists that have actually made many of Mad Mike's cars. And the guys are really well known for their insane high RPM cars and crazy Bridgeport setups. So this thing screams like an absolute miniature 787B, and power figures are estimated to be around 1,000 to 1,200 horsepower, and that's absolutely ridiculous. But of course, jumping into the model itself, and just while I was rotating around, you can really see how nice the paint finishes on that. So typical Mini GT quality, beautiful light lines, and they've obviously nailed the proportions of the car. Of course, it's the same molding as we've seen in a whole bunch of other colors. So let's look at it a little bit closer. So I'll just do a quick walk around of the car just to see what's sort of new on this. Of course, starting with the roof, LB Collet Yokohama, and nice visibility into the interior, and even a nice champagne collet on the window over here as well. Of course, Excedi. And jumping into the bonnet, we start off with the brand new Liberty Walk red circle logo over there, and of course tone in red. And here is the electricity cutoff and the extinguisher as well for the car. And this one is actually number 23, so it's reminiscent of those numero reserve numbers that Liberty Walk usually uses. You can see on the Fiat here we've got number 49 over there, then on the Countach here we've got number 41, and even on this RX-7 we have number 41 as well. But of course, this time we are at number 23 for this car. Of course, Collet Athlete, and even a bunch of tiny little logos. And we've got the horizontal slats over here. They're not colored in or anything like that, so it's pretty much the same molding as we've had before. Then we've got the headlights over here. There's not too much detailing in them, to be honest. It's kind of hollow behind it almost, I think you could say. We can have a look at the previous version over here as well. This was a little bit more smoked in finish, but they're pretty much the same though. And of course the nice little intercooler in the front as well. Nice geometry on the detailing and the intakes over there. Liberty Walk Mini GT Yokohama tone once again, and of course a nice Advan logo there too. And we've got a whole bunch of other little logos, Excedi, Riese, Liqui Moly, and a whole bunch of other ones here. And there it actually says Tarmac Cards. So that's very, very interesting, because that means we might be getting this car from Tarmac as well, which is going to be a really interesting thing. Of course, it says Mini GT there, so that should be a cool one to check out. Hopefully it comes sometime soon. I haven't seen any pre-orders or anything for this car from Tarmac. Anyways, the wheels are typical 5-spoke Liberty Walk wheels, even got the nice little LBWK on them, and just finished off in this kind of satin plastic black, not really painted in gloss or anything, although the real cars are a little bit more glossy, I think. But thankfully we've got the writing on the tires, Yokohama Advan, although it is still missing. There should be some red stripes between the letters, so just over there and just over there as well. But at least I'm happy that we've got the lettering, and of course they spin really nicely in typical Mini GT fashion, so you can roll the car along should you want to do something like that. Then underneath it is pretty much the same molding, nice little tire tread as well, and of course heading into the side, the same split lines we've seen before, and they look really nice and crisp. Of course there's no cutout here in this section because it's still the same molding as we've had before, and you can see on that car we didn't have it either, although it should be there. And of course the same new logos, Liberty Walk, and interestingly enough you can see that there is a little hole over there, and this car actually had a molding where it had the exhaust in that area, but in real life this car's exhaust actually come out in these two sections between this diffuser. However, we are missing that little detail over there. Of course, some nice three-dimensionality in the intakes. They're not painted in black or anything, but of course same molding, lots of cool little logos, tons of Japanese writing on there, and a nice view into the interior as well, and a nice black roll cage too. And of course in the mirror over here, no reflection. It's a kind of common thing for Mini GT now to skip on that detail. And of course in the rear, tone, collet, and blask. And here another Advan logo. Of course the rear wheels are the same as the front, and no brake detailing, typical of Mini GT. And of course nice little logos in the C-pillar over there as well. And then heading to the rear, actually this rear 3/4 looks seriously awesome, and I love this LB logo on the edge of the wing as well. It looks seriously epic. And the lights in the rear are actually kind of dark compared to this previous version that we had before. You can see maybe they're not so dark, but they do look somehow darker on this white car for some reason. army tricks, and once again the tarmac cards, little livery over there, even twice. And of course, as I said, we are missing the exhausts over there. On the rear bumper area, you can see these black areas over here. So the real car's actually cut through in all these areas and it looks absolutely dramatic. However, MiniGT's just solved it with this kind of blacked out vinyls over there. And it looks pretty cool. It's done well enough. And there should be a kind of fuel filler cap in the center as well, but we don't really see it. It's just a black dot. There should be a bit of a circle running around the edge over there. But I must say, this car looks absolutely epic and super dramatic. But jumping into the back end over here, so we can see nicely into the interior. However, that should not be the case because the real car's rear section is completely cut out and there's a massive radiator and cooling all fixed out throughout this rear area. So it doesn't exactly look like this pretty much at all. But MiniGT's just kind of used the same mold. So this is what we get with this car. And overall, this side looks pretty much identical to the first. There's no differentiation. I don't even really see a fuel filler cap, to be honest with you. So that's kind of it, but it looks absolutely incredible. So let's check out the interior, and pretty much the same molding as we had on the cars before. You can see how stripped out this car is, and of course it's a pure racing slash drifting machine. And you can even see the door cards have like pretty much been taken out of the car there completely. And we've got the steering wheel over here as well, and these epic looking bucket seats with some nice bolstering there. And even the rear is just completely stripped out. So it's a serious race car. You can even see the pods in the center as well for the gauges. So overall, really awesome, and I'm super happy with this color update. So here we have it, and I think MiniGT's done an absolutely incredible job with this car. I really love this livery and the overall color scheme. This black and white with a red highlights. It looks really insane and pretty much stays true to the original car, except those minor details, of course, that are very specific to this car. But overall, design-wise, it's still pure silhouette works. Huge boxed arches, a razor-like nose section, and seriously aggressive front splitter as well. And of course, those angular wide fenders. They look like they've come straight out of a 1980s GT silhouette racing series. And I really like the fact that all the areas are highlighted in this white, and we can really appreciate all the lines and the intense bodywork that's gone into the design of this Liberty Walk Silvia. And this is really epic. I think MiniGT's captured it seriously nicely. And this Athlete Collet livery really ties directly to the real car, and MiniGT's already did a couple of earlier colors, but this one is by far the closest to what Liberty Walk is actually using for their current sponsor cars. So really epic job. And now onto the R34. This white Athlete Collet version isn't actually a confirmed real build, at least not yet, but it's completely believable because, of course, as I mentioned before, they have already used this livery on quite a few cars in the Liberty Walk stable. And of course, MiniGT has done a multitude of R34 colors already, including the red variant over here that everybody is hugely fond of, that you would have seen on my channel as well. And there is also this black one, which I'll be opening on the channel probably next week or so, or the week after that. But I think the black and white would look absolutely awesome together. And of course, while this new white version isn't a direct one-to-one replica, it fits extremely naturally into Liberty Walk's real sponsor theme, because Liberty Walk has a habit of taking a livery like this Athlete and rolling it out across multiple cars, so it feels less like fantasy and more like a preview of what Liberty Walk could easily build next. So let's hope this is more of a preview. But starting out with a box, very nice white on the MiniGT over here, and strangely enough, the white on the cars look a little bit different. So this one looks like a bit of a cool white, and this one looks to be more of a warm white. But I wonder if that will actually be the case on the models themselves as well. And of course, I've already rotated it, but it's of course approved and licensed and fully sealed. So let's check it. And once again, I've just done my little precision cuts over here, and let's actually look at the car. Ooh, okay, this is looking pretty exciting straight away. Let's get it out. Whoa. Wow, oh my word, that is seriously cool, man. That is super striking. It's definitely got a different looking character than the Silvia had for some reason, but I think it could just be that we've got some chunkier lettering, but the white on this R34 looks absolutely insane, and straight away you can see the roll cage seriously highlighted in the interior, and this thing is pretty striking to say the least. Wow, okay. That's really epic, man. From that rear angle, it just looks so wide. Wow, this thing is seriously cool. I love this color combination and the color of the contrast between the interior and exterior. Of course, we had the black roll cage on the Silvia, so this gives it a little bit of a different feel overall. But of course, in terms of proportion, it's pretty much the same as the previous R34, which is just over there, because it's the same molding. So of course nothing's changed in the molds at all, but this thing looks pretty awesome. And in terms of the color, I think it's pretty much exactly the same as what the Silvia has. So on the box it looked like it might have been a little bit of a different tone, but I don't really see too much difference. So that's at least good news, and that's awesome. Let's check it out a bit closer. So starting out with the paint finish, it's pretty much the same gloss over here, and we've got the same livery on the roof as well. So we can actually check it out next to the Silvia. Barely any difference, maybe the size of the writing, but of course nice visibility into the interior. But you can see we don't have that champagne collet in the window over here, but the logos are pretty much identical. These ones on the side, the shopping list is kind of shifted up just to make space for those air outlets, but other than that it's almost identical and really crisp. Of course, typical of MiniGT, but nice crisp lettering. And of course the molding is the same as we've checked out before. The link for the R34, that red one, will be down below as well, and you can check that out. That was a crazy comparison. And of course Athlete, we've got some air outlets over there, not punched through or anything like that. And of course still the same type of headlights, the vent as well, and we can even see those little fans in the front of the radiator there as well, and that's really awesome. Great three-dimensionality in the molding, and of course the same liveries once again. Liberty Walk in the center, Yokohama tone, and this one actually doesn't have the MiniGT logo here, but rather it's shifted to the side over here. Once again Advan, and pretty much almost identical. Even the tarmac cards one. So I wonder if Tarmac will actually be releasing this car as well. That would be a really interesting take. Of course, once again the same wheels, but look at that, we actually have the red strips on the side of the wheel. So wow, I'm so happy about that. That is really awesome. Strangely enough, the real car on this one actually has that, but it's not present, and this car doesn't even exist, but they've actually put that. And this is really awesome because at least it shows that they can do multiple colors on the wheel designs, and man, that makes me so happy. That is super awesome. Of course, the wheels are pretty much very similar, 5 spokes to those, of course not identical, but it's the same wheels that were run on this car as well, so not much change whatsoever. Of course, the same logos once again on the side, split lines, and even the exhaust is on the side. And of course in the windows we've got a typical R34 DLO, and the edges are just finished off in the satin black, and great visibility into the interior. We've got these red bucket seats in there, and of course this seriously geometric and complex roll cage just finished in this vivid yellow, and that looks really cool. And of course nice modeling on the interior there as well. I don't really see any gauges painted on or anything like that, but it is nicely modeled on the inside. No writing on the windows or anything like that, and no reflections in these really slimline mirrors either. And then in the rear over here, we've got finally some three-dimensionality on the rear intake over there, as of course we had with that red and black car over there, and pretty much the same logos even on the C pillar over there. And of course once again Collet, Advan, And of course, in terms of the wheels, they roll really nicely. You can even see they look pretty awesome spinning around, especially with the writing on the edge of the tires. And they move around nice and free. And wow, there you go. It rolls really well, actually. That's very, very cool. So rear 3/4 looks seriously epic. Once again, the LB logo over there. And the Tarmac Works logo featured here once again, and that was actually something that was not on the Silvia over here. So Tarmac is really heavily going on this car, so that's pretty awesome. Of course, Collet Advan over there, and the typical R34 rear lights, nice 3D dimensionality in them. And you can see we can see into the lights kind of nicely. To be honest, the quality here doesn't look that great in this white finish. You can see the edges of the fenders over there, although I don't know, this side maybe is a bit better, but especially around the lights it's not exactly the nicest finish. But overall the logos are pretty cool, and this one says Yokohama Athlete in the center, whereas this one had, of course, this like cutout section, and more army tricks and tarmac here as well, Liberty Walk here, and a huge diffuser, once again similar to those Silhouette style race cars. And this side over here is pretty much identical. I don't see any fuel filler cap or anything like that. Quick look into the interior, and it looks like that. And once again, stripped out interior on the back there. So it's pretty awesome, very much a race car, just like the Silvia was. And here we have the car spinning around in all its glory, and I must say this thing looks absolutely awesome. I feel like this is going to be a really cool addition to the lineup once more of these Collet X Athlete colors come out. Of course, we've got the Silvia to work with for now, but soon enough hopefully we'll get the Miura, the R32, and we're even going to have an F40 on the way soon, so that's going to be an awesome one. And this R34, although for now is a fantasy color, I feel like it works really nicely on this R34, and I really like this black and white contrast once again, but this time highlighted with this yellow cage. And I'm really happy about the fact that they've put little details such as the tires and the writing on them. I feel like it adds a little bit of extra depth of realism. And visually this white works surprisingly well on this chunky R34 silhouette overall. And of course MiniGT's already proven how good this mold is with their previous castings, and this one has a really awesome feel, and I feel like Liberty Walk will most likely be bringing a car out in this color. Although I still don't know if this color will be quite as iconic as that red and black livery that we had before. I'll just put it in the background here for you, just kind of off to the side over there. And interestingly enough, this car actually ran an old school carbureted engine setup, almost like a vintage GT car, and Liberty Walk showcased it as a kind of retro motorsport twist on the R34 platform. So if they're going to be bringing out this white one in a real life, I kind of wonder what kind of engine and setup would they actually be running in this car. It would definitely be an awesome thing to see in real life. So here we have the two of them spinning around together, and you can really see and appreciate how clean this theme really is. On the Silvia, the sharp silhouette arrow lines really stand out much more than they do on other darker colors or other liveries that they've done with the Silvia before. And I feel like the detailing is super crisp, and the car looks absolutely characterful, especially such a strong black and white contrast. It looks really epic. And to be honest, I'd kind of like to see what it would look like with a black bonnet as well. I think it would just really add another dimension to it. But overall, I'm seriously impressed. Of course, the real car has a lot of extra details which are missing on this, but overall I feel like this is one of the best liveries that they've done for this S15 from MiniGT. And then of course we've got the R34, and once again this white really highlights the body kit edges, all the crazy wide extensions, and of course the typical R34 silhouette. It looks really beautiful in this white, although I feel like the show stealer this time is the Silvia, just because of the fact that we've had pretty much the best color for the Skyline already, which was that red and black variant. So this one kind of doesn't go as far as that does, but in terms of the collection, it really accentuates this entire Liberty Walk Athlete setup overall. And of course, as always, MiniGT has nailed the printing, super sharp logos, the stance of the car looks absolutely perfect, and really good mold work on the car overall. Of course, there are some older molds now, so they're getting a little bit out of date, but as you can see, with new colors, we get brand new models essentially. So if you're collecting Liberty Walk models, or you just love this white Collet theme, these two are absolutely worth picking up. And the current prices are around about £15 each currently. And of course, I'm still working on getting you guys those links down below. Hopefully they'll be up and running soon, and once that happens, you'll just be able to click on the link directly and buy one of these models, whichever one you prefer. And don't forget, the black R34 color update is coming soon, as well as the LB Nissan Z in gold, the red 720S, and that insane looking Fighterworks Abarth 500. So lots more content coming on the way, and thank you guys for watching. Take it easy. I've been Norb. I'll see you guys in the next video. Ciao.